In 1967, Martin Luther King Jr. spent weeks in isolation, away from the rigors of the civil rights movement, to finish writing what would be his fourth and final book. King titled the book, "Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community?" The ever-hopeful minister saw a future where all Americans would unite to fight poverty and create equity. In his writing, King viewed the pursuit of justice and equity as a nonpartisan effort, as a united social movement that would flourish within both the Republican and Democratic parties. But 53 years after that book was written, the death of an African-American man, George Floyd, who was pinned under the knee of a white police officer on a Minneapolis street for nearly 9 minutes, has ignited protests and riots nationwide, flummoxing faith leaders, activists and entire communities with the same question King posed several decades ago. Where do we go from here? Chaos or community? In a nation plagued by perhaps the most polarized political environment in its history, racial reconciliation may seem elusive. But after Floyd's death, Americans appear to be questioning their respective roles in the reconciliation process. White communities have been asking what they can do to help, and African American faith leaders and community activists have taken the charge in expressing the need for systemic and attitudinal changes, especially as they are being constantly asked by white allies and counterparts what needs to happen to get on that path to reconciliation. White people must take that important first step of acknowledging the wrongs that have been committed, said the Reverend Samuel J. Casey, senior pastor of New Life Christian Church of Fontana and executive director of congregations organized for Prophetic Engagement. First, there has to be an honest recognition by the dominant culture, the white community, that racism is still a reality, he said. We never told the Jewish community to get over it. There is a deep acknowledgement, as there should be, of the effect the Holocaust has had on the Jewish community. Reconciliation can come only after you admit you've done something wrong. That hasn't happened yet. The conversation must shift from what the black community needs to do to what all Americans need to do, said the Reverend Chineta Goodjoin, pastor of New Hope Presbyterian Church in Orange, which is predominantly African American. What does your congregation need from us as a white church? What do we do about your pain? When the your becomes our, we move toward reconciliation, she said. The ability to be able to listen to others' stories and accept their pain is necessary if this process is to work, said Goodjoin, whose church plans to hold a virtual vigil at 7 p.m. Tuesday, June 9th, but if you participate, you have to be prepared to carry the burden of someone else's pain, she said. If you are looking forward to light candles and sing kumbaya, you're going to be sorely disappointed.